For my country presentation, I chose to do Guatemala. My name is Samar Hagan, and I will be taking you on a virtual tour of this fabulous country. This is the country's flag. This flag is one of only 3 to display firearms. This symbolizes the passion and fight that this country has. It just doesn't give up. That passion is one of only a few things this country, which is a bit bigger than the state of Maine, has to show for itself. The rich history, the delicious food, the language, religion, the politics, and of course, the people. Guatemala is located in the northern region of Central America. It borders Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador, as well as both the Caribbean Sea and Pacific Ocean. Here is a view of a beach on the coast of Monterrico, Guatemala, which is close to the Pacific Ocean. And here is Playa Blanca in Livingston, Guatemala, that borders the Caribbean Sea. A majority of the population, which is about 14 million people as of 2012, reside in the southern part of Guatemala, which is more prone to earthquakes. Its total landmass is 42,042 square miles. And from the geography on to the food. The cuisine originated from Mayan food, and like the Mayans, some staples in Guatemalan foods include spicy chili peppers, corn, and beans. Homemade tortillas are made from the corn, and the chili peppers can be used in multiple kinds of dishes. One of the common dishes of Guatemala includes the tamale. Guatemalan tamales can be different from others because they are steamed in a leaf sometimes, and the masa is very soft compared to something like Mexican tamales. Oftentimes you'll find that Guatemalan tamales can have a hint of sweet and mostly savory flavors. Another dish are plátanos fritos, or fried plantains. These are commonly eaten with black beans and some sour cream on the side. My mom used to sprinkle sugar on mine when the bananas weren't ripe enough. Lastly, before I make everyone hungry, are chilaquiles. A lot of Hispanic countries vary on how they make them, but in short, they are fried slices of tortillas with a chili sauce, typically a tomato sauce on top. A different version of them is that the tortilla is stuffed with cheese and then dipped in a batter and fried, but it just depends on where they're made. The official language of Guatemala is Spanish. It's most commonly spoken by the first generation of Guatemalan Americans, but there are still some indigenous immigrants that speak Mayan, but are actually unfamiliar with Spanish. Roman Catholicism is the known religion of Guatemala. Guatemalans have practiced this religion since the Spanish conquest, but have also maintained some Mayan beliefs and customs. Roman Catholicism is included in multiple parts of Guatemalan life, like the politics and community development. The Guatemalan family and community life can be best described as large extended kinship that maintain close bonds and support. Many family members are separated as some family decide to immigrate to other countries, while others physically cannot. It used to be very common for families to immigrate to the United States and try to bring the rest of the family members over. Which brings me to the assimilation of Guatemalans in America. Guatemalans and Central Americans began arriving in Los Angeles in the 1950s, but saw an influx around the 1980s. A lot of Guatemalans tried to pass as Mexican Americans to avoid deportation. This is because a lot of them would have preferred to be deported to Mexico rather than Guatemala because of greater economic opportunities. Guatemalans faced more discrimination in the United States because of their bold indigenous cultures and traditions, which is why many Guatemalan Americans avoided involving themselves in mainstream society. Lastly, in order to continue to look forward, we must keep in mind where it all began. Guatemalan roots lie within Mayan civilization. Mayan city-states were often militaristic. By 900 CE, Mayan civilization declined, which could have been attributed to many factors. Only about 1 million indigenous people remained when the Spanish arrived in the early 16th century. Spanish settlements in Central American regions made it possible for travel and trade with Spain's island colonies. The Mayan population had dwindled to 200,000 people by 1650 because of things like disease and war. But by 1821, Guatemala gained its independence from Spain, and just 3 years later joined the Central American Federation. A military dictator by the name of Justo Rufino Barrios ruled as president from 1873 until 1885. It was ruled by military dictators until 1944, when the last one was overthrown and the country elected Juan Jose Arevalo as president. His successor was overthrown, and by 1954, a military dictator ruled again. And for the next 30 years, all of Arevalo's work was undone by Colonel Carlos Castillo Armas. The country struggled, but in 1983, a small return of democracy was allowed. A long civil war was finally over by the end of 1996 when a peace treaty was signed. In 2003, the former Guatemalan city mayor Oscar Berger was elected Guatemala's president. As of now, Jimmy Morales is the current and 50th president of Guatemala, serving since 2016. In conclusion, I hope everyone really enjoyed this presentation and learned a little bit something about a country that they might have never given a second thought, especially when it's so close to the United States. I personally learned a lot as well. I am Guatemalan, my mom's from Guatemala, and I'm sure she'd be proud of all the information that I learned, not just because of her, but because I wanted to take the time and learn something about our country. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.